Thank you so much for joining us on the Transportation and Logistics podcast. This is brought to you by our sponsors, Atlanta Dispatch and Humblebee Enterprises. We have some very, very exciting guests on stage right now. But before we get started, I did want to mention, my experience from over the weekend. I had the opportunity to speak to some aspiring freight agents, and it solidified why it's so important to get educated before stopping everything that you're doing, your current W-2, your 9 to 5s, and joining this industry as an entrepreneur. You got to learn what it means and what you need to do so you can get those processes very, very streamlined before you do it. And with that, I've been hosting this bad boy for a while now, and dispatching has been very, very near and dear to my heart. I am releasing some. I'm publishing a book. I'm publishing a book on the fundamentals of dispatching. So, for the people who have been asking me questions for, the years that I've been doing it, I have been able to assist you, but this will be a much more, formal way of, giving game. So just be on the lookout for that. So thank you so much for your time, everybody. And, on top of that, something very interesting happened as far as student loans. I'm not sure if either of you two on stage, are going to be affected by that, but $10,000 being relieved or forgiven if you make $125,000 or less, and up to 20,000 being relieved if you make 125,000 or less, and you receive the Pell Grant while you were in school. So, big things happening, interesting things. I thought they were going to do more, but I'm not, who am I to say anything? But without further ado, we do have two very exciting individuals on stage. We have Fleet Drive 360's Nick Sallis, and we have Brandon Miller, who is a company owner. Hey, fellas, how you guys doing? And Nick, you are muted right now, just as a heads up.
Oh yeah, I was just trying to be nice and not let that, my kids screaming in the background or any, crazy feedback. So, hey Jory, man, thanks for having me, brother. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Nick, man, we've spoken briefly in the past, man, but I'm very excited to have you here. Everything going well your way?
Man, I got 4 kids. There's nothing going well my way. Business is awesome, but life is chaos, my man.
Wow, 4 kids, man. Do you ever get a break?
When my wife allows it.
No, I hear that, man. I hear it. I hear it. And Brandon, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, my man. Doing good. I got 3 kids myself, and I work from home, so I am sitting in the driveway in the car so that I won't be interrupted.
Man, I love it. I love it. I love it. That's beautiful, guys. That is beautiful. I don't know what it feels like yet, but soon I'll be there, and I'm pretty sure we'll have all these dad stories that we could talk about, together. But fellas, I just want to say thank you both very much for being with me here today. We're talking about a very special thing, Fleet Drive 360. Nick, before we get there, let's talk about you and your background, how you came to be, in this place that you currently are. And we're going to do the same thing for you, Brandon, just so that we can bring this bad boy full circle. So, Nick, when did you first get involved with logistics, brother?
So my father, when I was in third grade, started a company in the construction supply industry. And that was where I began leaning on and depending on the logistics industry to move freight from all over the world or from our office in Atlanta, Georgia, all over the United States. We would have anywhere, I mean, when we were young, it was maybe a truck a week. Uh, with the last year before I left, it could be 10 or 12 trucks a day coming in and going out, bringing stuff for us. So I was a client. From there, I went and left the family business and was running a fab shop with oversized bridges shipping across the country. We would have 10 to 15 trucks running in trains with escort vehicles, 20 some odd feet wide, 12 and a half feet tall, overweight, overdimensional. And then as we were loading up, and getting to hear all the issues with the permits and problems getting things pulled, and why South Carolina is a pain to run freight through, and that's where I really started to kind of get a feeling for the stuff that the folks on this channel deal with on a day to day. As far as how I ended up in this role, man, it goes back to a friend of a friend of a friend. Like, I mean, every single one of your listeners, I imagine, like, God bless the broken road, right? Someone I knew in seventh grade, I made a decision to leave the fabrication industry to be with my family more. And someone I knew in seventh grade knew somebody that was married to somebody I went to college with,
Wow.
and got my resume in front of somebody else, and it just worked out. God had his hand on me at that minute.
I hear you, man. Well, I love it. I love the background. Being raised by an entrepreneur, I bet you were exposed to a lot of nice things that help shape the way that you view the world today. So I think that's pretty dope. And look, if you don't mind, I mean, do you know some of those reasons off the top of your head why South Carolina would have been a pain to run through with some overweight, oversized equipment?
Yeah, it's all in just the time it takes for them to get a permit. It's a different process. It's not as fast. It's not as electronic. Um,
Mm,
you can't expedite anything. And I mean, there were many times that I was paying drivers layover fees just to sit and wait because the permit hadn't come in. I mean, it's just their permitting process is longer and more of a pain. And we would say 3 to 4 days on the inside, but it could be 5 to 7 at times from when we pulled the permit until when we actually got it.
gotcha. All right. Well, yeah, I feel that, man. And preferably with some of this infrastructure bill, some of these supporting agencies will be able to update their processes, get some more, some electronics in there that streamline the process. So yeah, I mean, thank you so much for sharing that. And brother Brandon, what's up, man? How did you
Uh,
get into the industry?
well, I'll tell you, man. I'm only 35 years young, so I've only been in the transportation industry for a year as a logistics, driving and dispatching and being an part owner in our company. What started out for me was I was in the oil and gas industry up until a year ago. That's all I've ever done and known until then. I'm in Western Oklahoma, so you either farm or you're in the oil field or you go do something somewhere else. So
Right.
um, man, what really got me into it was oil and gas. Man, it's 24/7, 365. I was never home. I missed a lot of my kids' life up until this point. Missed out on a lot of things with them, and I was luckily I was blessed enough to make enough money to kind of set myself up where I could do something different and kind of control my own hours and when I was home and when I wasn't. And I was interested. I had to drive big trucks, and over the road, that stuff's not light. You're running around total weight 80,000 or so, but the stuff we drove was 180 at the lightest, up to 380,000 pounds. Like
Wow.
Nick was talking about, South Carolina is hard to get through, man. If anybody that's listening or yourself, you ever been to Wyoming, man, that's that's a tough one as well, man. They you can't get permits till you get there, and you got to call them and tell them you're coming. And we show up in
What?
that giant equipment, and it's game on. So,
What?
oh yeah, the stuff we drove, man, was 150 plus feet long, 14 and a half feet wide, 14 and a half tall, 380,000 pounds long, or 380,000 pounds in weight. So we were long, big, and heavy, man. And it's pilot cars and bridge analysis and all kinds of stuff just to move. And so I've always kind of been involved in it, being the one driving some things that big, following the guys driving the stuff that big, having to wait, like Nick said, wait at state lines for permits. Man, we've spent weeks before just sitting in hotels and they're having to pay us. And I just was always interested. And of course, I had to talk to our DOT compliance people at the company I worked for and stuff like that. And it was always just kind of was interesting. And then I had a good friend of mine was dispatching at a hot shot company, and I bought a truck and trailer and quit my oil field job, and I went for it, man. And I drove for a while, and then I had the opportunity to dispatch, and then it turned into an opportunity to be part owner in a company. And so now that's what I'm doing, and I control my own hours. I work for myself at my house, and I'm home. and enjoying my kids, and so it is all a blessing, man. I worked really hard for a long time, made a lot of money, and blew a lot of it, and got tired of it. So I went for it, man. It's the American dream, work for yourself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I went for it, man. We're making it. I mean, anybody that's listening that's in this industry knows the diesel prices and rates are always a conflict, but we're plugging along, man.
Right, right. Look, man, I ain't gonna lie to you. I haven't seen anything on highways rolling around that heavy and that, at with those dimensions. I have not personally. I probably seen something on Instagram. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
the
it's
fact that you're
a lot of very strict permitted routes. Never on the interstate. Always back roaded with, like, for instance, uh, we had to go just from Oklahoma to Texas. If you were to hop in your pickup or your car and drive down there, it's like a 4-hour trip. It took us 2 days to make because of
Woo.
the routes you have to take to avoid bridges and everything else. So
Right,
it's
right,
wild,
right.
but, but
Well, yeah, I definitely hear you, brother. Well, look, and I mean, well, this is an added benefit. You having a CDL. Did you have to have any additional endorsements to be able to
so
run that type of operation?
for the particular equipment that was the largest, you had to have doubles and triples because it had Jeeps and dollies and certain things like that. But the smaller stuff that didn't have didn't require oversized, like pilot cars and stuff, we were just overweight. We were all, as long as you got your CDL, they'll just put you in there and you go drive it. So
Right, right.
um, the first thing I ever drove the week I got my CDL for the first oil field company I worked for was 180,000 pounds. Never drove a big truck in my life, and that's what they stuck me in. So you either learn or you don't. So,
Right, man.
but yeah, you
I
ain't gonna
don't know
speed
if I'd
anywhere. So,
trust you with that kind of money right after meeting you.
oh yeah,
Oh, man.
it's weird. It's wild, man. There's some bad drivers on the road. Everybody knows that. It's a sink or swim industry. Either you figure it out or you don't.
Right, right. I hear the same thing about freight brokering. So, but
Right.
anyway, look, the funny thing is when you said oil and gas, the oil field, I just was like, all right, yeah, this brother's been fracking. You know what I mean? But no, this
Yeah.
is it's
No,
much different.
the particular deal that I was in was after the frac is over, completing the final step between that and actually selling the oil and gas out of the well. So we were
Gotcha.
a completion company, but yeah, so it's just a lot of truck driving, a lot of permits, a lot of oversized, overweight, a lot of permitted routes, a lot of logistics. But I was just driving, and like I said, I was tired of being gone, man, and so I took the steps to be home. And
Right. Well, that's a beautiful thing, man. Yeah, that is the American dream, and I appreciate you joining us here today. I'm pretty
yes, sir.
sure that your input on how Fleet Drive 360 has, influenced, impacted your organization is going to be well received by the folks that hear this. So, thank you again for being here, Nick. Let's talk about Fleet Drive 360, man. What do you feel like? Why do you think that Fleet Drive 360 is necessary in this industry?
Well, look, I mean, yeah, you brought us here for promotional opportunity and to speak about the product, but I don't want to come off as preachy and I don't want to come off as trying to sell something. So I'll tell you the problem we were trying to solve.
Got you.
Uh, the issue that my owner, so I've got three owners. I've got a CTO, a CEO, and a CMO. Alphabet soup. Um, so two of them, my marketing officer and my tech officer, own a dispatch company and a number of fleets. And they've been through all the popular kids at school from a compliance standpoint. They've struggled with their safety audits. They've been put out of service before because of something small and stupid. And they were forced to have, 2, 3, 4 different vendors to manage their compliance, and said, this is stupid. There's got to be a better way. There's got to be a single source that I can combine all of my compliance needs into one place so I don't have to think about it and worry about it. And the concept that they use, and that I was just talking to Brandon on earlier today, return on attention. And it's something I think all business owners need to focus on. How much time and effort am I putting into a specific issue, and what return am I getting from it? And compliance is not fun. It's not sexy. It doesn't make you any money, but it can cost you your business. So what ultimately turned into Fleetdrive was the owners of a trucking and dispatch business coming up with a way to manage their own compliances. They had programming knowledge, they had programmers on staff, they started to build something that they could use for themselves. And I'm sure after a lot of hard hours and a couple of cold beers, they said, you know what, we can sell this. Like, this is something the industry needs. This is something everybody wants. And that's what we were born out of, is we take everything that you need to do for compliance in 4, 5, 6 different areas and give you one central place to store your documents, run your drug testing, manage your drivers, hire your drivers, everything soup to nuts from a compliance standpoint, and give you a foundation you can build on. Um, I mean, in so many words, I think that's the best short, succinct description I can give you.
Okay, no, I respect it. And you guys are able to assist people when it comes, let's just say uh, I'm a fleet owner and I have a driver that I am looking to bring on. Do you guys start from the very beginning, or is this something like once the driver is already onboarded, already with my organization, that your product might be able to get used at that point?
So let's talk current state, because I don't want to sell what we're gonna do. I want to tell you what happens right now. So as of right now, I don't have a way that you can find a new driver. But the instant you've identified somebody that you want to potentially work for your business, that's where we can step in. And you jump into our system, you type in a driver's license number, first and last name, phone number, and an email. And then
Mm-hmm.
that potential driver is going to get a text message and an email. It's got a link to a DQ file questionnaire. They're going to put in their previous employment history. They're going to upload their license, their medical cards, all the things that you need to build a proper driver qualification file. And then it'll return that to the system for you to view. And then it takes it through the entire process of making sure they're compliant before they hit the road. And then they get added to your fleet as an active driver. And that's the biggest challenge that we see is, I mean, all these guys, I think you've got 31 here right now. Um, you've all done the DOT application. You've done that one screen where it says, I attest that I will conform to blah, 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 regulations and rules. But did it give you the rules that apply to you? Did it tell you exactly what you needed to do for your state, for your situation, in order for you to stay compliant for your business? No. It just gives you this link to a giant rule book, and you're just supposed to figure it out. So back to something you said in your introduction, right? Doing your research, understanding what's happening. Compliance is one of those like foundational pieces of a business that if you have a shaky foundation, the business will crumble. So you've got to have that good structure that you can organize your information, you know what you need to know, and then also back to return on attention. Like, when do I need to pay attention to compliance? When do I need to focus on this stuff? And that's where we come in, is just giving you the heads up, hey, something's going on, you need to pay attention. That way you don't have to either pay people to do it for you, pay other compliance agencies a lot of money and hope that they do it right. You can do it yourself and learn the process and just get notified when things need to be addressed.
Gotcha. I think that was very eloquently said. And, let me further that by asking a question of Brandon. All right. So I know that you said that you've been in this industry for not too long. You know what I mean? Let's just give it, within the
Yeah.
last couple years, within the last couple years. And would you say that you've been able to scale your company in that time?
Yes, sir. We started out. We just hit our 1 year mark this month. Our
Hey,
numbers are a year old
congratulations.
this month. Yeah, our insurance dropped, so that's great. um, no, we hit a year mark this month, and man, we started out with 3 guys, and we currently have 12, and another one coming on next week. So we'll be sitting at 13, and we got guys buying. Like I said, we're hot shots. We have pickups and a couple sport chassis trucks, and then now we got a guy that just purchased a tractor trailer. So it's getting bigger. We're getting guys interested in hauling, getting bigger equipment to haul bigger things. More weight, more opportunity. Things like that. our brokers are growing that call us for stuff, and so I'm not pounding my head on the desk at load boards all day.
Right.
I mean, that's still a thing. I think that it takes a lot of years to get to the point where you don't need that anymore. I know other guys locally that run trucking companies that have been doing it for 15, 20 years, and they don't look at load boards ever. They just,
Mm-hmm.
they have their customers, they have their set work, and I mean, I hope to get to that point obviously someday, but for now, man, we're just trying to stay moving, keep our guys busy. And like I said, we're 100% owner operators. We have only owner operators. We don't have our own assets yet. We're trying to, grow at the right rate to where we don't overload ourselves and cause any downfall. So
Right, right. Okay. Well, yeah, I appreciate that. And you mentioned something about the type of equipment that you guys are running. Just to throw it out there, I have some good friends over at EXO Freight. They definitely are catering to that equipment type. So, holla at them. Jake is a great guy. So yeah. But aside from that, how do you feel as though you being able to scale from three guys? Well, actually, let me say this. How long have you been a member, a subscriber to Fleet Drive?
I'm looking at 6 months now. So what got me to Fleet Drive, and I hope I'm not getting ahead of you here, but what
Oh,
what
go
got
ahead.
me to Fleet Drive was a mutual contact that knows myself and my other dispatcher and Nick got us hooked up because we had mentioned our new entrant audit was coming up, and we just got this letter in the mail, and it just had this list of things. And here we were, thought that we have all our paperwork, everybody's got a file, and we did our best. But then when you see that list, man, like Nick mentioned earlier, you just sign this thing saying you'll comply with all these rules, and they send you this gigantic book of things, and you just have to figure it out. And that's the hardest thing for people like myself and anybody in here that's listening. They know you. I mean, you're busy. You're trying to
Right.
stay loaded, make your miles, you know, not get in too many way stations and holding you up, and just all the things that the obstacles we all see every day. Um, we thought we had our stuff in a line in order and stuff, and then whenever we saw that list and went to digging, we kind of panicked a little bit, like, man, I hope we can get this together. And I got put in contact with Nick and visited with him, and he was like, all right, well, we're going to do the new entrant program for you, the audit program. And he told me everything he needed, and we sent him all the stuff that we needed, man. And I'm 100% glad that we found Fleet Drive 360. And I'm not just saying that because Nick's on here. It definitely kept our head completely above water. We only, after our safety audit, our new entrant safety audit, we had one thing that they found that was bad, and it had nothing to do with Fleet Drive. It was a malfunction with our ELD that they didn't like. And then other than that, that was it. We got lucky. We did good.
Great, great. And look, how do you? I mean, let's speak about you guys have been on the ground. You've been cultivating that relationship with Fleet Drive 360. And Nick said something that was very, very important. It's about a strong foundation. And compliance and all those things. So when you're adding more people to your organization, you want to make sure that your infrastructure can support it. Do you have any specific, thoughts about how structured you guys are now and how seamless or, not seamless has been to add more drivers with the help of, having the assistance, the backing, and the attention from a Fleet Drive 360?
Yes, sir. So initially, and Nick may have to correct me on this if I'm wrong, but I think we're the first people they did this new entrant, like this entire packet for up front. I think we're the first people that he had to have his team do all this stuff for us, and we kind of bounced ideas off of each other. And I kind of got to do a little question and answer session with him, like, hey, what could we have done different, or what do you think we need? And we kind of bounced things off of each other, and it's kind of it they made the changes right then live for the program. But man, as far as adding new people goes, like I said, I sent every bit of paperwork I had to him, and we built a profile for every single driver, their truck, their trailer. You and so now I can very simply, when someone wants to come work for us, like you said, I just have them give me a picture of the front and back of their license, and I get their phone number and email. I put it on there. It sends them the application. It sends me a notification once they've completed it, and once I approve it, Fleetdrive even does the contacting previous employers for you. So, like as soon as I approve someone's application, man, it contacts the previous employers for me. I don't have to do that. Um, if they're a CDL driver that requires a drug and alcohol test, they're my consortium. They set all that up, and I get an email with where they need to go, and you can search by zip code to the closest one of their house, and they find it for you and send it to you, and the driver. And then once they complete the UA, it gets sent back. I mean, it's seamless, man. It's absolutely great. All I have to do is send them their application, they fill it out, and then they send it back. It notifies me, and then it sends everything for the drug and alcohol testing, and it keeps them in the pool for randoms and all that stuff that you're required to do. It does clearinghouse for you. I mean, it does everything. It's excellent.
Nice, nice, nice. Well, I appreciate that. Nick, so Brandon just mentioned something that definitely piqued my interest. I even had this conversation last night over dinner. You know, I mean, my dinners might be weird if you hear what subject popped up, but essentially, you know, does Fleet Drive do anything when it comes to vetting the motor carriers that it works with in this regard? All right, you got a company who does leverage the owner operator model. So that they're bringing on folks who got their own equipment, but technically to be leased on, that means that they have to be on that insurance of the motor carrier whose loads are, those loads are getting booked under. Like, is that something that you guys also make sure that you audit that whomever is riding and the equipment that's being driven and used to haul the product is in compliance and on the insurance of the motor carrier?
So I mean, it's a software platform and it's a
Uh-huh.
system, and it's not just software, right? I've got staff behind it, and I've got people that are paying attention. But it's just like any system, right? Crap in, crap out. If you don't put good information in, you're not going to get good results out. But the liability, the responsibility lies with the company that has the DOT number. Whatever relationship they've got with owner operators that are leasing on, it's still, when it comes down to the audit, when it comes down to roadside inspections, when it comes down to financial liability, it's the folks that own the DOT number and the MC authority that are going to come liable if any issues happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's their responsibility to make sure the people running underneath them are compliant,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of whether or not they have other agreements or whatnot. That's the way it plays up to the federal government. The government just doesn't care. So we run everybody through the same process. We run everybody through the same checks. And we let them know if there's something missing, if there's something that they're not in compliance with. They can choose not to upload documents to us. I'll give you an example. We've got a lot of folks, and probably on this channel, existing carriers that already have a membership. They've already paid their money with the Drug and Alcohol Consortium. So why would they want to pay me to manage their drug and alcohol when they're already paid for it and they're stuck for a year? So for folks like that, I can say you can upload all your alcohol and drug testing results, your documents, use us as file storage until your audit comes or for future record keeping, but we're not going to perform that role for you unless you specifically ask us to. So we give them the same system, the same structure, the same notifications ability, and then help guide them on what they need to do to be compliant. But it still falls back on the carrier themselves to make sure they put the information in the system.
Okay, I got you. I hear you. What I've learned is, you know, the people who I had the conversation with last night, they did what they naturally thought they could do to scale their company. They just so happened to take the easy route that technically isn't the most protected route. So I just know that uh, having a service that would be able to teach them that type of thing, helps folks. So it's not necessarily saying, okay, well, let me just more so say it like this. I think that I know somebody personally that could benefit from that type of knowledge. So it might be cool to have that type of thing. Just I don't know. I don't know. But
Well, so I mean, on all this, like, look, there's not a single person on here that has to pay me a single dollar to get some guidance, to get a high level analysis of their business. Like, we're here because there's a need in the industry, because my owners suffered the same problems that a lot of these companies are going through. Pick up the
hmm
phone and call us. Talk to us about your situation. Tell us what's
hmm
going on in your business. And it's not like I can't take money with me when I go, right? It's not just about the dollar. We can help you. You'll recommend us to other people. You'll use us when you're ready. Hell, access to my system is $5 for every active driver you put into it per month.
hmm
So that I mean, well, it's changed a little bit in a week or two, but I mean that was a couple of weeks ago less than a gallon of gas, and that gets you a month access into the system. But you don't even have to pay us to give me a call, to talk to me personally. I've got compliance experts that we can put you in touch with and just tell you what's going on and what you need to think about.
Gotcha.
And I'm sorry, yeah, it just goes back to, like, it's not what you do in life that matters, it's how you do it. We're here to help. We want to help. We're trying to grow a business just like these folks are. And I remember, like I've said this on other podcasts I've been on. My dad sat me down at a table in third grade and told me, like, things are going to change. My sister and I, like, I'm going out on my own. It's going to get tight. Things are going to get tough. My mom taught me how to do things with bologna that, like, I mean, I'm a
Yeah,
master
I hear
with a
you.
frying pan, some mustard, and a piece of American cheese.
You got
Like,
to
I'm
pop
telling you,
that bump, that hump that comes in the
hump shit. Now I got to teach you a lesson. It's all about how you cut it.
middle.
but 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 like, I get it, and there's no one helping these guys out, and a lot of big companies, like, I can handle FedEx, I can handle Amazon. We talk to really large fleets. Our system works for them, but we didn't forget the one person. About Brandon, like, he came to us and he said, I got this letter, my audit's in 2 weeks. Like, I got the info, but I've got it in file cabinet. Some of the info's in trucks. Some of
hmm
my owner operators have it. Like, I don't know what to do. I
hmm
mean, a little bit earlier, I think Melita posted she's going through the new entrant audit right now, and you don't know what you don't have. And anytime you deal with the government, and I mean, I hope this isn't recorded. Anytime you deal with the government, like, you want them out of your life as quickly as possible. You want to give them everything they're asking for in a clean and organized method so that they say, thank you, I appreciate your time, I'm going to leave you alone now. And that's the idea, is people that are going into an audit, even if they've already received their letter, we throw all their information into the system. They can see where the holes are, what they didn't do right. And this is whether you use my system or any other company's system or however you go about it, it's better to get ahead of the problem. If you didn't do something right, it's better to do it after the fact, but before your audit, than to let the auditor find it himself.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Okay, well, look, I appreciate that. So, moving to the other offerings that Fleet Drive 360 has, I do know about hours of service. Very important, and the fact that you guys have been able to integrate some of the marquee players in that space. That's great. Well, let me ask this, Brandon. Do you guys ever have a reason to do anything with personal conveyance? I know that you got your normal situations going, but is personal conveyance anything that ever comes up in your operation?
Yeah, so like I said, we're all owner operator, and almost everybody with the few that have the sport chassis and the guy with the semi, they're these guys' personal vehicles. When they're home, it's their truck. I've got guys that have UTVs and side by sides and campers and boats, and that's their pickup. You know what I mean? That's what they go on their family vacations on, and that's what they use for that. Some of them are farmers and they haul cattle, They do all kinds of things with it. It's not just a work truck. I mean, it's also their truck when they get home. And that was an issue in our new entrant is I had a guy who would just unplug his ELD when he was home.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to tell him like, hey man, you can't do that. Just go off duty PC and run it that way. And I actually, in my audit, I kind of asked the officer for some advice, like, hey, these guys own these trucks and trailers. It's theirs. A lot of them move their tractors around, or they'll load up a bunch of side by sides and go on a vacation or go to Colorado or whatever. What do I need to do? And he kind of broke that all down for me, when to use PC and when you can't, and then whenever they're on the road, when they can and can't. But our guys use it pretty often, mainly when they're at home. If they're resetting, on the road and they got to go to a laundromat or they want to go eat or go to Walmart, and right back to where they were staying, then we let them use that. I highly encourage them. I try to talk them out of using it when they're resetting on the road, because if for any reason it tried to put you in driving mode or something, it messes up your whole reset.
Oh
And
yeah.
and we all, and everybody on here is probably wishes they could go back to the paper log days, but that's gone, And so we do use PC, but like I said, I live in a small part of the world, not very big towns. Like for instance, the town I live in is less than 3,000 people. We got one stoplight, so everybody
Oh
around
wow.
here, they, like I said, they haul cattle to the sale barn. They take their boat to the lake. They do other things with it, but my DOT numbers are on their truck and my logo and my ELD. And so I just kind of have to coach them on when to use it, how to use it properly, stop unplugging it, those things. But yeah, no, we do use PC pretty frequently whenever the guys are home and they are using it for personal use.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, yeah. No, I think that was the word that um I guess. So, Nick, this is what I was really going to with that. But I know that we're talking about what currently is, and I know that you guys are growing the business. Definitely at a great rate. But when I guess when I was saying that, it's more so, are you guys going to implement like the coaching aspect? And I would imagine that you would, once you decided that that was something that you wanted to move into. I just definitely know there's a need for people to, have the professionals, the skilled compliance folks that can, hold their hand. That's what I'm really
Yeah,
saying. Hand
100%.
holding, please.
No, so if it's a existing carrier, if it's somebody who just got their new entrant audit, or if it's somebody that's driving for a big fleet and decides that they're going to pool their money and go out on their own, yes, we very much have the coaching, opportunities there for them.
Gotcha.
Um, we're aim small, miss small. I want to be perfect in compliance before I go branch out into other things and other areas of the business. But I've got great businessmen that we're involved with, folks that are running. My CEO runs a factoring business. My COO, CTO, CMO, I don't know. Um, I get confused. I don't
The
have that
guy's
big
great,
big
man. The guy is
executive
great.
title and
That's
degree. But they run a dispatch company, so we can speak to the benefits of why do you want factoring and what's the difference between a big factoring company and a little one. I have no connection to them, and I don't get any kickbacks to them, but we like to educate our clients, and part of it is because I give a shit. Excuse
right.
my language, but I want to see these guys successful. The other part is self-serving. If you go out of service, if your business fails, you can't keep using my service. So I
True.
want you to be successful, and I want you to grow and add new drivers and know how to grow your business. And like, we don't hire people that don't care. Like, I will never have that Comcast mindset of customer service. Like,
Hmm.
we talk to people, we care about people. If you picked up the phone and called our main office number, you might get me picking up the phone. I went through an audit. It's money transport, one driver. Maurice Crenshaw is the gentleman's name. I did his audit for him. I helped him with his audit packet. I uploaded all the documents on his behalf. One, because I wanted to go through the process, and two, because I like talking to the guy.
Right. No, I love it, man. I love it. The fact that somebody as high as the COO might be picking up the main company line when folks are calling in and putting those hands on the actual target, the task of at hand. So no, I love that, brother.
I
Um,
can attest to it. There's been times when I call the main number, Nick picks up the phone, and it's
Well, you
because
also have my cell phone number, but
well,
you
yeah.
know that.
Now I just text him, but he is very
right.
integrated into it. I mean, he truly is. He was involved in every step of my start to finish audit. He was even like cleared his schedule while the officer was at my house in case I had a question. I mean, it was excellent, man, and he really does. I mean, you can call that number, and he'll and I mean, half the time he answers it, and then I mean, anytime I have any issue, man, I promise you, he answers the phone, and then bam, he handles the problem for you, man, and or gets somebody to do it that or that he needs or whatever. But he really is that involved. He's not just saying that.
No,
Well,
I
Joy,
hear
let's
you.
get down to it though, is because people don't care. Like they only care so far.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at these bigger companies, and look, I'm not going to throw shade on any of my competitors. There's a lot of really good compliance companies out there that care about their clients and that are doing a good job for them. And a lot of the folks that are on this call have made good choices in the companies that they've gone with. Some of them just might not be completely satisfied. But like, if you don't care, what are you in the business for? And if you're not listening to and dialed in with the client, understanding what they're running into, you're not getting better. So like we get a good suggestion from Brandon. It's not just, hey, yeah, cool, thanks for your suggestion. It's, oh, you know what, that might really apply across the board. What if we made the product a little bit different? What if we tweaked it and adjusted it? And then how could we better serve our clients in the long run as a result of it? The same way that everybody on this call thinks about their clients and how they go about their business.
I hear you. Okay. Okay. Well, look, I appreciate that. And so, look, Brandon, when it comes down to it, what do you feel like has been one of the things, the services that has been able to help your operation the most? Something that, obviously that Fleet Drive 360 has provided to you. What do you think has had the largest impact on your operation to date?
So the one of the biggest benefits is whenever you are done, whenever you're a member, and like myself, all my stuff's uploaded on there, and you go to the website as the fleet manager, and you can see the dashboard, and then there's all the other tabs you can go through and break everything down individually. But just on the dashboard, it'll show me how many drivers I have, how many are in compliance, how many trucks and trailers I have, and then it will show me, like right now, I got a guy whose medical card expires in the middle of the month next month. It sends him a text message and an email for me at 30 days that your whatever medical card, first
Mm-hmm.
license, a registration for, I mean, anything that has an expiration date is entered into this system. So whenever that expiration date is approaching, it gives you heads up at, what is it, Nick, 30 days, 15 days, and then like a week out or something. I mean, it gives you multiple, hey, this is about to expire. So like I had a guy, his medical card was fixing to expire, and I had him a load coming home, and so he got the message, and then I called him because I saw it on the dashboard and was like, hey man, why don't you go ahead and make that appointment and go get your medical card renewed while you're home, and send me the picture of it, scan it, and send it to me in an email so that I can upload it to your profile. And that's one of the great things is nothing will expire. You'll never roll into a way station with an expired driver's license, AVI, registration, medical card, nothing, because it tells you in advance with enough time to go get that done. So, something that's small, if you're just a one man show, when your expiration dates are going to be. You can set a reminder on your phone if you want, but I mean, this deal's great. I got all these people I have to manage with all their equipment, and I don't have to like just try to write it down on a calendar somewhere or anything like that. Man, it just pops up right on the dashboard. It sends me an email. Like, you're very well informed on what's coming up that's going to expire, and that can keep you from out of service violations, that can keep you from lots of complications in this industry, and that right there, just to me, that's one of my favorite parts of it. Just as soon as I click on the dashboard, there it is. I mean, it shows everybody stuff that's coming up that's going to expire or whatever, and then you just go in there and upload the document, and it removes them from there. And whenever it's time next time, you get a notification, and it's one of those that convenience, right? We all
Right.
have cell phones. We all have cell phones that do more than computers did when we were kids, right? So just anything, people want convenience in their life, right? Think about it. Everything we do, we pay for convenience, and
Yes,
we
sir.
love it. We thrive on it. We love it. If we could have somebody strap every load down and tarp everything for us, we'd love it even more, But but just anything to make your job easier, and like he said, return on attention. I don't have to worry about digging through all my driver's information to find out when something's going to expire or anything like that. It's just right there for me, and it's excellent. I love that. That's one of my favorite features.
Oh man, that's great to hear. I love the fact that we have like these are all personal testimonies. I think that I'm so excited to have been able to have someone who's actually a client to be able to talk about how it has been impacting their business. So look, before we so look, I'm gonna ask you another question, Nick. But if there were any folks that wanted to ask any questions directly, please go ahead and raise your hand or drop it in the chat. But I prefer you raise your hand so that you can come up and we can hear your lovely voice. So yeah, if you had any questions, go ahead and raise your hand. We'll bring you up. But in the meantime, Nick, all right. So I know that you said that you guys, you got the personal touch. You were able to even clear your own schedule to work with Brandon here when he was having that audit. Like, what is the ideal customer for Fleet Drive 360? And yeah, I'll just let you take that. Who is the ideal customer for you guys?
The ideal customer is, sorry, the sarcasm, parent in me is coming out a little bit. I got to guard against that. The ideal client is someone who wants to get better. Yeah, and someone who wants to grow their business. Because to be honest, I don't just want to talk about compliance. Compliance is important, but like I love talking about businesses, growing their business, how we can help them, other places they could go. Like the number one reason small businesses fail is lack of cash flow. And how can I help? We might have met each other because of compliance, but who can I introduce you to? How can I turn you on to other opportunities? What can my team do to better impact your day to day? And I guess it goes back to my dad and like watching him start a business from nothing and going without and seeing like the way a small company can grow and what it can do. I mean, we had 53 families at the height of our company that this business supported. And I remember like jokes about the exterminator going downstairs and my dad sitting in his underwear in the basement as the only employee of this company getting it started. So there is no ideal client other than someone who cares and wants to get better. We built this system to facilitate large fleets, but also never to leave the single owner operator behind. So we can run the gamut. Now, I'd say the perfect client for me is one who is going to start from the very beginning. They don't have a DOT number, they don't have an MC authority, they know how to drive. They know that side of the business, but they want to go out on their own. They want to start their own business. That's the perfect client for me because I can give them that great foundation. I can introduce them to all the different types of support structures around them, and then help them build their business from the ground up. And I can watch the whole process. And I get personal gratification in watching other people succeed. So seeing someone that says I can do it on my own and I want to build this business, and then being able to assist them with it, it's more than just the money behind it.
Yes, sir. Well, yeah, I definitely feel you there, brother. I definitely feel you there, and I appreciate that response, even with the candid nature of the sarcasm. No, I feel it, man. I definitely hear you. And, I was looking to see if we had any questions. Um, is there anything that I have not asked you that you want the people to know about Fleet Drive?
Yeah, it's not as much about Fleetdrive as it is about compliance. Look, I'm not here to sell a product. I think our product can benefit everybody in here in this room. I appreciate the opportunity you've given us to talk about our program. I give you a quick thing. Look, we can build your DQ files. We can run your drug and alcohol consortium. You can run your clearinghouse queries. We have an accident registry where you can maintain those accident logs. You can upload your company documents, your insurance policies. You can get notified about that too. That's all the things we do. But call us and ask us about your business. Call us and ask us about what you're trying to accomplish, what you're thinking about doing. That's where we really shine, is just playing that consulting role, connecting people in with other businesses in the area, and giving them a good foundation that they can build upon. We had a guy that reached out to us. We did a Truck and Hustle podcast interview a couple weeks back.
Hey, shout
This guy
out to
reached out.
Ramel. My bad, not to interrupt you, but that brother right there has given so much to this industry and taught me personally so much game. But go ahead, bro. Sorry about that.
No, it was a blast. And so this guy called us and he's like, look, I'm going through a new entrant audit and I didn't do my pre-employment drug tests. I did not do my queries, and I just found out that one of my drivers is under an SAP. And he's telling all these things that he has wrong with his business, and he's stressed out and he's freaked out and he doesn't know what he's going to do. And we can bring order to the chaos. We can help him get his ducks aligned. We can help him figure out what he needs to do and the right path to move forward. And it didn't cost him anything to reach out and make a phone call.
Right.
So I guess that's my biggest suggestion, is find a good partner, a good system. You need a good insurance company. You need a good way to manage your cash. You need a good way to find loads, and you need a good way to manage your compliance. And I may or may not be the right solution for you, but my information is free. So reach out to us and at least ask us the questions. My email address, it's Nic, Nic, at fleetdrive360.com. You don't have to jump through hoops and go to the general box. Shoot me a direct email and ask me a random question about your business and see if I can help you, and it doesn't obligate you in any way, shape, or form of working with us.
I got you. I love it, man. I definitely love it. I hear the passion in the voice. So, guys, just holla at him. He put his email out there, Nic at fleetdrive360.com, Nic at fleetdrive360.com. So, yeah, I do appreciate you. Brandon, look, man, it's been a pleasure having you here on stage to hear your perspective, your background, the fact that you've been able to take control of your time and now be able to see your family, your those babies as much as you want to. I think that right there is beautiful, man. It's very inspirational. I pray that people who heard your background of having to being forced to work in other places that took you away from your family, now you being able to put yourself in a spot where you dictate that. I hope that people are inspired and do exactly as you did, take control of that situation. But I did appreciate you being here on stage today, brother. So thank you very much.
I mean, I appreciate it and the opportunity to talk about it, man. Anything to make your dreams easier. Like I said before, man. I wanted to be home. I didn't want to miss out on my kids' lives. It's not something that I grew up missing out on. My parents, both of my parents were home all the time, and so it was new to me to become a parent and then not get to ever be around, but I was providing a great life for my family other than my absence. And so
Right.
if you can take that opportunity to try to go out on your own and do your own thing, man, that's the dream. I mean, how many people live their whole life without taking a chance? Like, it's just money. Ain't nobody gonna bite you. Everybody in here knows how to drive a truck. You know what I mean? You can always fall back on that CDL. Always. Take the chance, take the risk, man. Risks yield rewards. You know what I mean? And it's worth it, man. It's hard work. It ain't easy, but it's an awesome experience. Um, some days I want to pull my hair out, but I love it, man. It's great, and I'm so glad I got the opportunity to do this with my life and be here today and talk to you guys. And I'm telling you, man, this, not to just try to sell this product or whatever, but seriously, reach out to him, talk to him, man. It did a 180 for our company. It truly, honestly did, and that's very genuine. I'm not just trying to sell you on Fleet Drive or Nic or whatever, but man, it totally turned it around for us, because every single bit of everything we need for compliance is in that program, and I can update it live, and it's simple. It's user friendly. They have live chat support right then. You can just type a question, you get an answer. I mean, it makes it easier. And whenever you're trying to step out on your own and you're trying to do these things, and there's minimal guidance out there from anything, this can really help. I mean, anything to make your job easier or your life easier, or your day to day, just one less worry or one less concern, just something to make it easier for you, man. It really changes things for you. And that's what this deal did for me. We were worried about what are they going to ask us for that we've never heard of, and Nic took the reins and showed us what we were missing and how to get it, and we got it. Now everything's in there, and like, if it's something that anybody's thinking about doing, they want to hop out on their own and do it, man, call Nic. If you want to try to get your numbers on your own, he can help you. And I mean, it's worth the risk. I mean, we've all had jobs that we've had to quit before, and that was scary. Why not quit a job and work for yourself? And if you
Right.
can have access to something like this, that one, Fleetdrive, it makes it easier for you. Two, podcasts like this, information, learning, just expanding your knowledge on the industry you want to be in, and stuff like that, man, go for it. I say go for it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, again, man, I truly appreciate you, Nic. It's been a pleasure being able to, talk to you in the past, but now being able to follow up with this conversation. I truly appreciate that. For everybody that is interested, um, for everybody that normally comes with us on Monday mornings when we partner with FreightWaves Sonar Team, we are pausing that for the next couple Mondays. The gentleman that we do those sessions with, he's getting married. He's getting married on Sunday, so he's gonna be out of the office the next day and the next Monday too. So we're gonna be picking up our FreightWaves partnership in a few weeks to let you know where you should position your trucks to take advantage of those market conditions. And as far as the upcoming sessions we have, I believe the next one will be with, who is that? The next session that we are going to be having is with Containerized out of the LA area. We're going to be talking about AB5 from the owner operator's perspective. This is going to be his second time on the show. A lot of energy from that brother. So, everybody, I truly appreciate the support as always, and have a blessed one. Nic, Brandon, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for having me, Joey. Always a pleasure, guys.
Definitely. All right, y'all.